trying to muddle through. See them wiping their eyes in the rear view, like black hole sun in the sky. Why the fuck won't you come when I need you? Well, this moment in time is as SWAT team took your neighbor today. Watch them as they walked him away. You told yourself extremists come in all different shapes. Met his eyes and lowered your gaze. Is it too late for us to ever change? When we are collecting the dust of better days, they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to be safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Sheriff stopped your daughter today. Pepper sprayed her twice in the face. He must have had good reason if he'd treat her that way. At least that's what they've taught you to say. But is it too late for us to ever change? Once we're collecting the dust of better days, and they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to feel safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Feds arrived and had you detained. Said you'd made some posts they want changed. Tased you till you felt like you'd forgotten your name, or life before they had you contained. Oh, life before they had you contained. SWAT team took your neighbor today.
I'll do a 10-year retrospective on the grift, like live from the black site.
I'll have hair to my knees, missing half a dozen teeth, singing Kiss from a Mag Light. And I'll say, welcome to the stream. It's been 15 years since I talked to you last night. 'Cause when my cap's tight, I serve about a month a minute in this meta prison half-life. Smell-o-vision last rites, soldered in the synapse. Every breath's an hour long, confined inside the time-lapse. Fourth wall crumbling, then suddenly the mimes laugh, reach in their Invisobox for lithium to Minecraft. Congress needs a cobalt fix, child workers, open pits, who pluck your precious metals out with cracked and bloody fingertips. Couple minutes break to go and take some muddy river sips. CNN says, smile, kid, and edits out his splitting lip. So if a tree falls in the forest, did it really make a chorus if no human heard the timbers rip? And by that token, would we ever offer aid to any nation we've enslaved by way of business trip? Now, knowing what I know, I love to scream myself to sleep and like to smoke myself illiterate, just trying to cork the flow of words that pour forth so unlimited. But something in me knows I'll never want for inspiration in the land of politicians making millions off carcinogens. So let me break it down for all you suits and all you synergists, and then I'd like to circle back in terms that you can simmer with. Corporate worms and CEOs are feasting on the dinner guests. Oil peaked, and so to speak, it didn't pique our interest. Leaders eat their promised words, then smile back all winter fresh. They smile like recruitment ads. They smile like the noose is prepped. Smile like a whistleblower strolled into the intercept. Editors start licking lips, Klippenstein with bated breath. Bet they're gonna burn them till there's not a trace of embers left. Send them out to sea like TYT when half their members left. Democrats are warning you there's only one November left. And it's crucial that you re-elect the rack on which the renters stretched. Past their means, past their seams, past their need to genuflect before whatever senator they meet that hasn't hemorrhaged yet, whose fondest memories all involve a charter trip upon an Epstein jet. Lesser evil voting still means evil's all you'll ever get, and might be all that we deserve. We've let them leech our labors and unravel all our worth. We can call ourselves constituents, but we know who they serve, and it is nothing of this fucking earth. If you fool me once, it's because I didn't think a guard was needed. If you fool me twice, it's because I didn't learn the lesson, so it bears repeating. If you try the same play 3 times running, it's because you know what's coming, and you didn't come to lead, you came to purposefully be misleading. Democracy is dry, it's spent a century bleeding. The husk is gaping open to the sky, out in the field where all the sheep just keep on circling and worrying and bleeding. They're waiting for the shepherd that they've tried to hide their faith in, but he's so appealing. They'd gladly give their fleece, it's such a freeing feeling that even when he leads them to the ledge and starts to urge them on, they're positively beaming. They were told that they were on their way to save democracy, so even as they plummet, they just gloat, they don't consider screaming. And halfway up the cliff, the shepherd's cozy little mittens wrap around the staff of shattered human hopes on which he's leaning. He shows the gentle grin that used to stir your inner spark, and he says, not me, us, as he gestures to the oligarchs. He knows that if he runs, they're gonna stop him like a stolen car. And he'll easily surrender because it bought a lot of time for laying mines in all the grassroots. Suddenly, the tiniest of movements gets you blown apart. Suddenly, you're in a play that's set on an election day, and voting for the fire, unaware you're playing Joan of Arc. Suddenly, the shepherd pulls the rug and slips a hood across your clueless mug, and everything goes zero dark. I'm gonna warn you once more before it's 2024 and you fuck around and find out who your heroes are. To take a step back from the herd and you'll learn that you can spot who all the shearers are. If you really want to know the product that they're selling, I can take you where the mirrors are. If you think your voice is finally ready, I can tell you where the lyrics are. I hid them in a box I had to bury neath the cobble when they carpet bombed the promenade and raided all the street bazaars. Now all we've got's the marketplace, and you're too broke to even bother asking what the options for your treatment are. Suddenly, the raw debris of homeless human dignity will find it has 100 teeth for every badge and sweeper's arm. Suddenly, they speak in solidarity and each is armed. Suddenly, the sheep can see the shepherd for his truest form and all pitch in at once to help him buy the farm. And now it's zero dark, and all is calm and peaceful save the distant wail of sirens that approach beside the flames of dawn. Suddenly, the carrot's just a string that's on a stick, and all your movements make you sick because the prize is gone. Now we could go and flee into the forest low and meek, or we can exercise our right to feast and go and graze on Biden's lawn. 'Cause he's been sowing seeds that seep a toxin out to sap a bit from each of us and keep on leeching decades after Biden's gone. So regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. But in that time of hopelessness, you cannot trust the shepherd when he once again comes asking you to humor him his siren song. And it's cute that you can innocently, honestly assume that's just a symptom of a system that was wired wrong, and not the standard feature, basic function, primary objective of a mass hypnosis firebomb. You don't need to know the words to cry along. Someday it'll hit you like an officer who pistol whipped their ride along. Broke his jaw and kept his job and kept it moving right along. That voting isn't red or blue or black or white or right or wrong. Voting's like a firing squad where you can choose the firearm. It's slow extinction by and large. It's Super Tuesday supercharged. It's all your futures, roots and all, just tossed out on a garbage barge. It's everybody dropping out to push the biggest oligarch. It's everybody voting fire, registered as Joan of Arc.
Good morning, Sunday morning. Good morning, Sunday morning.
We're 40 Sunday mornings out from normal, and the world is not the same. Said you waited for a warning, but the warning never came. Don't shine a light in my face.
Nancy gonna cut you a check too late. 2 years after your funeral's paid. 2 years after the grave. She'll be a little stronger for all of the dollars she saved. Watching you wake, watching you cling to your family slipping away. Watch her do nothing but pray. Watch her condemn the Republicans, take them to brunch and then shrug it away. Now watch us be outraged half of a day, then pick a new hero to face our leaders and think they could beat them, playing the game they played since Pelosi had real human blood in her veins. They're all one and the same, sold off stocks and they all maintain that the risk was benign and the virus was tame. Flash forward and 40 Sunday mornings fade, 250,000 people in its wake, and the cruise ship sailed today. So motherfucker, don't shine a light in my face. Wait.
Good morning, Sunday morning. Good morning,
Wait.
Sunday morning.
Wait, we're 40 Sunday mornings out from normal, and the world is not the same. Said you waited for a warning, but the warning never came. Don't shine a light in my face. Said you waited for a warning, but the warning never.
No, Indy Left, what is happening here?
To check out IndependentLeft.news.
The Indie News Network.
Indie Left News.
Oh, hey, Indy Left.
IndependentLeft.news. Great work.
Indie Left News.
IndependentLeft.news.
Independent Left News.
Shout out to Independent Left News. Shout out.
Oh, what's up, Independent Left? Indie
Friend
Left.
show.
Thank you, IndependentLeft.news.
The INN, Indy, you're wonderful.
I think Indie was onto something.
Independent News Network, Indie News.
Yeah. What's up, Indy, over on Rockfin?
Independent News Network, also known as INN.
Indy Left News.
I don't know if I would have made it through that 3 weeks without Indy, honestly.
No, I was just going to ask Indy.
A
huge thank you and shout out to Indie Left.
No, you know what we're doing? We're world building, Indie.
Indie Left News.
You were doing the IN in recruiting.
Indie News.
Independent Left News.
Shout out to Independent Left News.
Check out Independent Left News.
At Kennedy News.
I see Indy's in the chat. Hi, Indy. Okay, great.
Who are these people?
Who are these people? Oh boy. Okay. Hi. We're back. We're here. Hopefully. I see we've already dropped a few frames, so we'll see how this goes. This is How Did We Miss That? And we're on INN, and we're also on Indie Left Media in a couple of places. Yeah, we're excited to be here. This is Reef. Next to me. I'm Indy. He's looking down. That's him with the bong sitting up in front of him. Yes, that is a bong on a lever. You see the INN 3D printed logo behind him. That's really cool. We are members of Indie News Network, an independent family of content creators that are all anti-imperialist, and we're fighting the system. And it's a big system, and we're well underfunded and undermanned, but we fight every day. And we appreciate everyone that's here and hanging with us. I see we already got some fam in the chat. Reef is hooking up Bond Cam, I see right now. And we're going to cover a bunch of Matt Taibbi articles tonight. We're going to read, actually, the paid articles. I'm a paid subscriber to Racket News, so I don't feel so bad showing his paid articles, but I think they're really important, and not enough people really saw them. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about the article that I wrote, that I went on Hardlens. Actually, I didn't go on Hardlens about this one. Lee Camp talked about this one, and I think Kit talked about it. And that's the third-party infiltrator that's being hired by the DNC, or at least the job that was put out there. And we have all kinds of questions about that. We're going to talk about that. And then we have some quick hits and other things that we're going to get to around the world. But we have a lot to cover, so I want to get right into it. So let's talk about this guy, Matt Taibbi. We know him, right? He's an Indie Media Award honoree, 2023 class. All right. So he publishes about a week and a half ago now already, about 10 days ago. He published something called the Censorship Files. And most gets this, A, because it's paid, B, because of the craziness that was going on with Trump and with the protests and with Gaza and with Rafah. This kind of fell through the cracks, which is why I bring it. Introducing the Censorship Files. So, what you can expect to find in Racket's FOIA library opening today, why we targeted publicly funded anti-disinformation programs, and which are, of course, misnamed. So he did this in conjunction, or he's going to set up here. Last June, in the Washington Post, University of Washington academic Kate Starbird, remember that name, complained that outside queries about work in the anti-disinformation field, I love that name, were taking a toll. Quote, the political part is intimidating. To have people with a lot of power in this world making false claims, false accusations about our work. All right. Her quote nestled between plaintive photo portraits. Right now, there's a lot of bad actors who are using freedom information requests, right, to harass academics working at public universities, added Alice Marwick of the University of North Carolina. And that wasn't something we saw until a few years ago. Yes, that's correct. So these are some of the people from left to right. Katie Couric, of course, we know on the left. Kate Starbird is who we just mentioned. She's on the top right. You've got Nina Jankowicz down on the bottom right. And on the bottom left is Clint Watts, your favorite Hamilton 68.
69.
Right. Okay. In the last year, newspapers, magazines, and even broadcast programs like 60 Minutes have been aggressively arguing that civic-minded anti-disinformation researchers are suffering under assault by outside investigators who misuse tools like congressional subpoenas and the Freedom of Information Act to slow or halt their crucial work. The bad actors are almost always described as right-wing activists or conservatives or Trump's allies and so on, who attack beleaguered protectors of their informational realm out of bias and bad faith. bullshit. All right. And he's calling this out. These are publicly funded researchers who spent years developing tools for suppressing or de-amplifying the speech of very people that are paying their salaries. Taxpayers shouldn't have to use FOIA to find out what these programs do or how they're funded, but a look under the hood makes clear why they want things that way. First of all, Starboard replied at length to queries about these documents. She had an overall comment that, quote, "Our team has fielded dozens of public records requests, producing thousands of emails. Not one confirms the central claims of your thesis, falsely alleging coordination with government and platforms to censor social media content." I could hear the Karen coming out of her, I swear. But instead of acknowledging that fact, abuse continues of the Washington State Public Records Law to smear and spread falsehoods based on willful misreadings of innocuous emails, ignorance about scientific research, and in several instances, a lack of reading comprehension.
Shove it up your ugly ass!
Oh, man. Since the Twitter files, Racket, in conjunction with Undead FOIA, has sent out hundreds of Freedom of Information requests to publicly funded anti-disinformation programs across the country. All right, the full productions are printed here, and you may decide what is and is not taken out of context. And here's a short list of what you may find in just the two batches of FOIA productions pertaining to Starboard's University of Washington. And an email suggesting that veterans, elders, and residents of, quote, rural communities traffic in disinformation and are participating in that demonization of historically underrepresented communities. Okay. A proposal for 4 to 5 additional EIP-like collaborations for monitoring content for upcoming elections, including election 2024. Of course.
Of course.
A bitter letter of resignation from a major anti-disinformation commission by a celebrity born in the Soviet Union, saying the group's work reminds me of home. That, by the way, is former chess champion Garry Kasparov, who's also a shitlib, but he saw what was happening and freaked out. It was like, I want nothing to do with this. I'm not going to read that
Didn't
one
you yell
tonight.
at Jim at one point? Called him a fucking Russian asset, something like that. Kasparov.
I believe he did. Okay, there's also a letter from the organizer of the infamous Hamilton 68 scheme saying that the new administration asked him to bring together anti-disinformation experts for a tabletop session with members of the National Security Council to develop strategies for countering disinformation, just like they did. Just like they did against, the Hunter Biden laptop, and just like they did against Russiagate. All right, they put these tabletop exercises together, and we're going to talk about tabletop exercises tonight too. All right, there's also a letter from. What? Go ahead.
We roll dice. We, figure out who has initiative.
So,
you know what I mean?
Something like that.
Get the measuring tapes out.
So
put the little dioramas down and whatnot.
Something like that. But there's also a letter from Starboard saying, we don't have a lot of evidence about what works, adding that there is little to suggest that tactics like labeling, pre-bunking, remember Ursula von der Leyen was talking about that this week, media literacy training, or otherwise leveraging digital pathways can change minds. You'll find her comment about the letter in a coming article, which we're going to have tonight.
Precognition bunking.
Oh, yeah. It's pre-thought crime. Absolutely.
Pre-thought crime. Yes, that's right.
All right.
Where's Tom Cruise to save us from the pre-thought crime?
Oh, my God. Well.
Save me, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, well, that.
Help me, Tom Cruise! Tom Cruise
slow.
used a witchcraft on me to get the fire off me!
Yeah, I definitely was a little off. Come on, I'm a little rusty. It's been a couple weeks. These are items from just 2 Racket FOIA productions. Requests were sent in hopes of better understanding where scenes like GEC was being spent. We found some awards like a $417,000 grant to Arizona State University that the school has yet to explain, for instance. But mostly documents show a broad intermingling of academia, platforms, and federal agencies to address the problem of inconvenient speech. All right? There is no such academic discipline as disinformation studies, or worse, critical disinformation studies, right? There do not exist experts who've been trained to determine what is and is not a fact across a global set of all things, from epidemiology to voting machine mechanics to war in Ukraine or Gaza or J6 or Hunter Biden's laptop, except me. But that's another story for another day. The idea that there can be such a discipline is absurd and the central fraud of a gigantic new source of government waste. These are not anti-disinformation programs. They're censorship technology programs and should be identified as such. Thank you, Matt. What universities, federal agencies, and civil society groups are doing when claiming to research disinformation is developing methods for analysis, detection, and suppression of politically inconvenient content. The tell that this is their real purpose is that political orthodoxy can be managed by machine, but of course, truth in the philosophical sense, or even truth in the far lesser journalistic sense, cannot. Because two people can see things completely different angles, I'm adding my own context, and see different truth. A panel of the world's best journalists would struggle to quickly determine whether or not a vaccine is safe and effective, but an agency like the CDC can easily decide its official vaccine policy, only because it's paid off by the pharma industry, Matt. I wish you'd said that.
Safe and effective.
It's
very safe and effective.
Very safe and effective. My heart swells at the thought of getting another one. Citizens might look at the issues from many angles and argue over causes and responses, but the Department of State and Defense or the White House can come to unified responses quickly and even more easily identify speech they don't like. Because of the First Amendment, they can't clean out that content themselves, but federally funded middlemen organizations still can, at least for the moment.
We're boned.
Yep. Federally subsidized programs judge speech not by accuracy, but by political impact. These documents are shown to be reluctant to allow even true stories about, say, hiccups or small incidents in the vaccination process that might be taken out of context. We know that, or the fact that Fauci made up the 6-foot distance thing.
Allegedly.
No, he admitted it
Still
today.
Safe and effective.
He admitted it today on
6
CBS.
Foot, safe and effective.
Safe and effective.
Distance.
Yes. Fucking draconian. This is the difference between truth and political truth. The former is elusive, and there should never be a government department charged with its determination. You will read an insider's assessment that doing so sounds like a Soviet concept. Again, you're not going to read that tonight. But it is, and that's how people should understand these documents. Censorship files. So here's part one, a resignation from the Aspen Commission, which I skipped over because I thought that there was juicier stuff.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
I thought sometimes they do, but I guess
only
not.
Sometimes.
Only occasionally. Yeah, so this is fun. This is, let me go back to that slide because this is a fun slide. This is our updated donor slide. I realized I've been a little remiss in updating it, and there's some people maybe even in chat tonight that I would like to thank, like Aspen Fallen and Charlie Mack. And I don't even know who AJ is or where they came from, but thank you. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Old Man Barker, Dems.
You guys seem to do one of those.
Right? The Tunneling Jew. Come on, man. Secret Tunnel.
Secret Tunnel.
Yeah. So we have the QR code up there in the corner. That is to get Jesse a new computer. We are, I believe, at $640 towards the 1,000. Thank you to everybody who donated there. Jesse's actually going to be here live next week. I don't know what we're going to do because I don't have another set of headphones, and I don't have a way to do the show live with another. Oh, you know what? We're going to be at Due Dissonance. We're going to be off next week, folks, because we're going to be at Due Dissonance live with Jesse performing there. In case you haven't heard, check that out. It's going to be on their Rumble stream, I believe, streamed to their subscribers only live. I don't know what they're going to do about putting out a recording of it or making it available to anybody afterwards. But So, but yes, please support, donate independent media. We love it if you can. If you can't, enjoy the stream, sit back, like the content, share it, please. Share it on YouTube, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, especially. Share it on Substack Notes if you can. We do very well over there. Instagram, if you can take a screen cap and say, hey, we're watching this, come on over to YouTube. Whatever you want to do, like, we really appreciate it. We love you for it. Thank you. Okay, so let's keep moving with the Twitter files or the censorship files. So we have very little evidence about what works. This is our wonderful friend Kate Starbird, as we know, who said that. All right. Now, this is, again, from Matt Taibbi and Undead Foya. This is a paid article that I am, because I'm a paid subscriber, I'm going to make available to everyone, and you guys can all see that here. Thank you to Matt. Go subscribe to Racket News, please, if you can, and support it. There's even a 14-second ORF video to start this thing. I figured I would click right here, and hopefully, I don't know if that's going to work. So I'm not going to mess with that. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's go back here. I'm going to click on it for a second, see how that goes. All right, and then we're going to go back here. There we go. Okay, so 14-second, very quick video.
You and your team, you guys created a website, Hamilton 68.
Yes, my colleagues and I, we tracked Russian accounts.
That's some bullshit.
So there are Russian bots, according to your website, that are putting this out into the world. Is that correct?
That's bull.
Right? Okay. So we all remember that happened.
Can you sound on for me, please? Very much.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Well, there you go.
Right.
You'll get it next time. All right.
Yep.
So let me go back now to the slideshow and go, here we go. Boom. Now let's go back here. Okay. We have very little evidence about what works. So this is about Hamilton 68, but also about Kate Starbird and so Undead Foya. So what's happening here is that Matt Taibbi and Undead Foya are effectively recreating the Twitter files in reverse by putting together FOIAs from public institutions to reverse engineer exactly what they knew from the Twitter files to say, okay, did they give us everything? And can we get public communication back and forth between Twitter and these people and between these people and other agencies that Twitter to, because they're part of public records and they're part of a FOIA. So Matt partnered with Undead Foya, and he's going to talk about that. And this is a paid article, and I'm really thrilled that he did this because there's a lot of stuff we're going to find out and confirm. So, on April 11th, 2021, Kate Starbird sent a letter to former FBI agent Clint Watts, whom Racket readers will recognize as the face of the ill-fated